Hello world, thanks for listening. This is Music and Math Podcast. Today is April 15th, Saturday again. And I'm recording for episode that's gonna be season 2, episode 16. And the topic will be like a summary of this month since the last English episode. That was episode 12, released on March 24th. Recorded roughly a week ago of that date, so March 18th? Yes. So roughly 1 month ago, this is English episode. So what happened during those time is actually, First of all, okay, for this podcast, there is anniversary a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually. That is 1 year anniversary of this podcast. So yeah, I've been doing this podcast for already whole 1 year. The very first episode of this podcast, season 1, episode 1, was released on April 8th. And I didn't note what day I recorded on that. Let me check. Yeah, recording was done on April 7th. And since then, it already had passed 1 year, whole 1 year. And the last episode just released yesterday on my timeline recording. Today is the 15th, and this episode 16, English episode, is gonna be released on the next Friday, April 21st. But yesterday, Friday, I just released 15th episode. That is normal talk episode. And the main topic was the anniversary of this. And I look back early episode, like episode 1, 2, 3, through around 10 episodes or something. And that was quite things, as I mentioned. This podcast program is, as I said always, that this is pure personal stuff, meaning that I'm on the table. I'm exposing myself. Then, at the, here in Japan, we have a holiday week long, one of the longest holiday season in Japan for an adult. For kids, there is a summer vacation, spring vacation, that kind of thing. We have this so-called golden week during the end of April to the first week of May. And last year, I took the chance during this golden week to challenge myself for this podcast program. And one of them is the exposing my piano playing recording. I'm practicing personal hobby. I'm practicing for a long time, playing piano personally. And but I, of course, obviously hesitated to show people my crappy piano playing to the people, but I just put it on the episode, and it was fun as well as useful for my, obviously, by putting the recording in public place in the podcast episode, I have many chances to listen to my playing in an objective point of view. It's a good experience, especially for the learning, for the training. Also, for remembering too. People need to memorize the song to play, basically, right? And listening is a way to memorize the thing. So I realize that my progress is getting better, I think, this year, 1 year, compared to the rest, 10, 20 years. Yeah, so that is one challenge I've done in the last year on this podcast program. Another challenge I did was this one, English talking episode. So I'm continuing this one. So I'm talking to the world. Yes. So what else I should talk? These days I want some time to think many things, but I'm not good at catching up. I'm not quick type of person. I need some time. I'm slow for learning. I'm slow for understanding new material, new stuff for me. And that's why, as a researcher, I took a rather minor or niche field because I'm not good at the competition. But as you know, these days, the progress of AI is it's so fast, and at the same time, it's very obviously it has a big impact on our life. And I want to think, before hearing other people's thought, first I want to think by myself because my thinking is not always strong. I'm influenced by others, and I knew that. So, but I don't like that. That's why I try to focus. I need to focus on that. But these days, I'm slow, but the progress is so fast. Yeah, I'm getting tired catching up with progress. Yeah, I need to sort it out and what's important for me. What can okay, so the reason why I want to understand that is that, as I said, it is a big thing. It has a big impact for every one of us, including me. And I want to do something useful for the world, to the world. Yeah, this podcast, I'm talking in English to the world. So, same spirit, I think. I want to contribute to the world and not, personal ego or that kind of thing. And at the same time, at the very beginning, when I choose my career in academia, the reason is to do for the world, right? So the same spirit, I think, in this situation, in this event, I'm thinking, what can I do? But I don't know. It's like, okay, we are on the ship named Titanic. We're going to a big iceberg. I saw it. Others saw it too. But the captain or the majority, the people who have power or have louder voices, they don't care. In that situation, I see. In that situation, what can I do? I'm just one member. What can I do? Especially this AI stuff. As you know, basically, if you want to do something, anything, you need big resources, computer calculation resources, data set. So if you are really good at, keen idea you have or something, maybe you may contribute some way. But for this one, in a practical sense, if you really want to contribute to that program, you need to get involved with the group or circle community where those resources are available. Otherwise, just talk. It's not the way I can work efficiently, properly. As I said, I'm slow thinking, slow for everything, and I'm bad at competition. So, but yeah, that's an exhausting situation. the subject itself, the alignment program, the future with the super intelligence. I mentioned maybe the last English episode too, I guess. The last English episode, the title is A Week of Mid-March 2023. The topic was GPT-4 and the Yudkowsky and other stuff, right? That's depressing. At that time, I mentioned that a few years ago, of course, I'm curious about that part, and I studied. I had Bostrom Superintelligence book. I tried to read it, but I couldn't finish it. And I also mentioned that Tegmark's Life 3.0. That helps me, that book, the last chapter, Consciousness, bring back to the outside of the big hole. And since then, I want to read that book again, more details, because I just read the final chapter briefly and just leave it. I brought back on my desk here, and I have this, as well as Superintelligence, the book, and the other stuff. But I couldn't focus these days. And, I just found yesterday, I guess, or the day before yesterday, Lex Fridman just released the latest podcast video on YouTube. The guest on the latest one is Max Tegmark. That's the third time on Lex program, he said. And I'm still in the middle of watching because Lex video always a very, very long with intense conversation, and it's it's not easy to get it and digest it, and I need some time to at least watch. But I'm still in the middle of, I'm in the 20 minutes or something on that video yet. Yeah, and he mentioned that that recording date was just the day they, FALI, published the open letter to freeze 6-month AI development, like GPT-5 kind of thing. Yeah, but anyway. So what happened? Other stuff. Okay, those are some heavy stuff. But my podcast is not Lex Fridman podcast. This is very casual podcast program, personal audio blog type podcast. So to refresh myself, recently I start reading, or not reading, listening. I reactivate the Audible account, Audible audiobook service, and I'm now listening to the science fiction book written by Andy Weir, the latest Project Hail Mary. This is the first book I'm reading of his books. He's kind of famous, right? I'm not a heavy sci-fi reader, so I'm just a lazy reader, as I mentioned always. And this is his first book for me. And he's famous for the Martian thing. What's the title of that? Is also a movie, Matt Damon's movie, right? The Martian is the title of the book, and the title of the movie is The Martian too. Okay, so yes, I didn't watch the movie yet, but I watched Interstellar. It's confusing for me, I heard a lot about this Martian movie, Matt Damon's movie, and when I watched Interstellar, Matt Damon appeared on a remote star planet, and anyway. And yes, I'm enjoying Project Hail Mary. I'm now in the chapter 10. This book is, I'm still in chapter 10, and this book contains how many chapters? 20 something, right? So I was amazed, the Andy Weir, put enormous plot, topic, stories in it. He's, full of idea, I think. If I were the author of that fiction writer, I try to keep the idea. Yeah, it is interesting, enjoying, and I hope, as I said, this is for refreshing. So I hope things are going well, but I don't know. And I don't speak about the story. I don't want to spoil others. Yeah, and so what else I should talk? Yeah, I need to say something about Ryuichi Sakamoto, right? In English too. He passed away the end of March. We knew that from his Twitter account, and that was on April 2nd or something, right? Yeah, April 2nd. And if you listen to my episode in Japanese, then you already knew that I'm influenced by him. Especially this podcast program is inspired by his old radio program. I listened to his program, FM program, when I was a kid, like a junior high to high school time, around that. So, of course, I listened to his music, especially around that time. In this podcast, we have 4 types of episode I mentioned. English is one of them, and normal talk episode in Japanese is another one, and music episode talking about music is one of them. Then piano, right? So I pick up Ryuichi Sakamoto in the 9th episode in season 2 that was released on March 3rd, and before that, on a piano episode, I picked one of his songs. I try to play that song, Thatness and Dearness. That's a very good song, I realized recently. And I want to play that. And around that time, I talk, how I'm influenced by him, that kind of thing. And as I said, we just have a 1-year anniversary of this podcast. And at that time, in my mind, I think the first year of this podcast is dedicated to him. I think I want to. Now I'm compiling a book based on this podcast program because I'm talking, right? And with the AI, OpenAI's model called Whisper, we can get a draft out of speech rather easily, right? So based on that, I have a plan to compile essay book of this talking content and publish the end of next month. That's the schedule. So I need to start editing. I'm planning. And that first essay, first volume, is focusing on the first year of this podcast, and that book also is dedicated to him too, if I finish editing in time. And I put the subtitle, Podcast Make Us Free, in English. Of course, I put it in Japanese. ポッドキャストは自由にする. That is taken from his book, his autobiography, or the book based on his interview for this, his life. And he put the title. Of course, he put the Japanese title, official title, but also put German title, I guess. Music, macht, frei. Yeah, I grabbed that. So podcast, macht, frei. That is the subtitle of my essay book of this podcast program. Okay, I need to focus on finishing. We'll see. I'm usually, as I said, I'm a lazy person, and my first self-publishing book. Okay, by the way, the book plan is for the event of the self-publishing event for technology book. We call it 技術書店. Tech Book Fest is the title. URL of the site. And 3 years ago, almost, I published the first tech book there. And that was a quite busy project. I decided to write the book just 1 month before the event started. So I literally wrote a book, almost 100 pages in a month. And that success story, in a way, a kind of a success story, makes me easygoing, kind of. That's bad. Anyway, I need to start for this essay book soon. That's another topic. What else I should talk today? Yes, spring has come finally, and my planting project I mentioned sometimes before, right? I'm planting fruit, apple tree and strawberries just outside of my room. In winter, all leaves dropped from apple trees, and for strawberries, some leaves are left, but it's under the snow for sometimes. But finally, spring has come, and apple trees had leaves again, and I'm very happy with that. And I don't know how many years more to get the real apple from those trees. We have 3 apple trees. 2 of them are 2 years old, and this is the 3rd year. 1 is the new one, just 1 winter, 1 year old. So, and for the strawberry, it's the same, 2 years old. In this spring, those, strawberries are also grown from the seed on the surface of strawberries 2 years ago. And this spring, finally, we have flowers. So I hope that we may get some strawberry. I don't know. It's I didn't put any, special fertilizers, or I just put it and pour water and that's it. So we'll see what can we get soon. Yes, and AI stuff. As I said, so the real AGI direction, the scaling, the size matters. Obviously, there is some threshold, and bigger is better so far, we found. So on that direction, there's nothing interesting happening. I mean, I couldn't reach that subject, but the progress is on every directions, not only on that large language model direction, but other too. And one of the curious direction is audio related stuff. I wrote not AI program, it's conventional, but I wrote a music transcription program using FFT called WAON. So I'm curious about the audio signal processing in general. And a few months ago, I played with some text-to-speech model implemented on ESP.NET framework. And I used, I guess, VITS model to train fine-tuning with my voice. And I put some demonstration of my speech. It's a text-to-speech model so that I can type something, then computer speak with my voice, right? It's interesting. And I also play with ChatGPT's text. I try to write some story by ChatGPT and try to put it to this TTS model. Then also, based on my face picture, and there is another deep learning model. The name is one-shot talking face model I'm using. It was fun. But recently, people are so excited about the real-time processing of this kind of thing. In this way, people, it is not TTS, text to speech, but the more like speech to speech, voice changer application using deep learning. There are a couple of models out there. I play with it, some of them. The quality of the output was so impressive. Let me put some demonstration of this voice changing AI model. I'm playing with the project, GitHub project. It's a retrieval-based voice conversion WebUI project. I hate this WebUI stuff, Gradle thing. I rather want to play with pure Python with the Jupyter and notebook. But anyway, it's the project and the model. It said based on the VITS, the same one I played before, but the quality is so good compared to that TTS demonstration. I think they're using Meta's feature searching library to match between the source and target. It's so good. I trained my English voice, speaking voice, try to convert the famous phrase. You can listen to it. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. You knew that phrase, right? That is taken from Star Trek, The Next Generation, the opening, where Jean-Luc Picard, Patrick Stewart talking, and I grabbed that from some YouTube and feed that Patrick Stewart voice into this model. People call it RVC in short. And I use my voice because it's controversial. The training, the impressive part is the quality, but at the same time, the fine-tuning part is so fast. It's not like, on a normal personal GPU stuff like a 2080. It takes just an hour or so to fine-tuning, generating my voice changer model, meaning that it's so easy. It's so dangerous. Many people are pointing out that this technology is very dangerous for, fraud. We can easily fool people, old people like your parents. It's so real. The voice is so real that some bad guys try to mimicking you to reach your parents and get some money, kind of thing, right? So you should be really careful about that usage of the technology, but it's impressive, I would say. Yeah, technology is like neutral, right? Yeah, that is also the problem of this AI stuff, AGI stuff, right? People are mentioning that, okay, that why people, those AI misalignment warning side people, why they don't trust AI or that kind of thing, right? Human beings are not trustworthy. I mean, there are good people, of course, but there is bad people too, always. We cannot eliminate them, right? So we have to take into account that. And there is a technology. Then we need to take into account of that bad people might use that and what happened then, that kind of thing, right? Yes, one of the message I've got from Ryuichi Sakamoto on that series of his radio program more than 30 years ago is that sincerity and honesty to the people. I mean, the communication to the younger generation, like me. At that time, he was like 30, around that, right? For the teenagers. And I'm talking. This podcast, I'm talking to the microphone, but behind the microphone, I'm thinking that there is a people, but I'm talking to myself, I think, basically. Myself in the future. So I imagine always that later I would listen to this talking, my talking, maybe some years later. At that time, I was thinking in this or that. At the same time, okay, that's a primary audience in my mind, but the secondary, I also think I'm talking to the people who are like me when I was listening to the radio program hosted by Ryuichi Sakamoto, right? I don't know, I can bring them something useful, but as I said, honesty and sincereness, those are the stuff I got. And yeah, that's it. I think. Yeah, today is Saturday, and I have English-speaking circle community, and we will have a meeting, online meeting today, this evening, in a few hours from now. So, okay, the English episode, that's it. I think today's, obviously, I'm not in a good mood. Am I busy? Am I exhausted? Maybe. I don't know. I want to do exercise, like a running, jogging again. But these days I didn't. I'm so lazy. So the next episode is a music episode. So I need to pick some music theme. Okay. Anyway, so that's it. Hang in there. I'm also trying to, hanging on the AI progress too. And other stuff, piano training, exercising thing, and the running, jogging. Because, I mentioned that I finished reading the Anders Ericsson's book, Peak, in English title. That is interesting, inspiring. Yeah, we need to get out of our comfort zone. Yes, I knew that. Yes, I try. And, one of my favorite books in these years is Moonwalking with Einstein, written by Joshua Foer. I listened to TED presentation by him at the beginning. Then I'm curious and I bought the book. That is also interesting. But when I reading Ericsson's book, he mentioned that Josh asked Ericsson how to break his plateau phase, that kind of talk. And I didn't go back to Josh's book yet, but maybe in that book he also mentioned to Ericsson somewhere. I think I like to read that. But anyway, yeah. So I need to get out of my comfort zone. Yeah, these days, my grumpiness is coming from the fast progress of AI, right? Then I thought I got out of that grumpiness. And the key idea thinking is that, okay, don't depend on the computer or outside of yourself. At the very beginning, you need to be trained. AI people are training computer models to get job done by the computer, right? But that's a tool. So you are the person who are doing a job, right? So remember that you are the one. So you need to be trained first, getting better, getting useful. So I remember that. So I'm getting better now. Yeah, everybody too. I hope. Let's get out of comfort zone. Yes, and I will finish this episode. Sorry, maybe it's not a funny story, but see you next time. Peace and love.